Hi, I'm Nagehan Oymakapu. I'm a master architect. I agree with the Erciyes University. Begin. Investigation of the impact of emergency action plans on the sustainable development on educational building Kayseri scale. Problem nowadays with the growth and the change of the educational structure cases updated to the legislation in the field of the education has been carried out in Turkey. Buildings and investments that are not planned with the scope of emergency management are returned as financial damage in the emergency. The negatively affects sustainable development goals. Purpose the research aims to guide local and national administration, school administration, and designers and raise awareness for the creation of the emergency action plans in line with ensuring environmental, economic, and social sustainability. Methods for private schools in Kayseri were examined within the scope of the study, and their vertical and horizontal elements were examined according to regulation. On-site observation and measurements were made and documented with the photographs. Conclusions: converted and changed schools were found to be incompatible with regulations and emergencies. It has been determined that while the number of schools that increase under supervision has a positive effect on sustainable development, the uncontrolled increase has a negative effect. Emergency action plan. For natural disaster or human emergencies that occur unexpectedly and cause loss of life and property. Emergency action plans are prepared with the scenarios and studies created. The purpose of the preparing an emergency plan it is determined to be always ready for emergency, to resolve the emergency quickly and effectively in order to reduce the impact of at the time of emergency and to manage after the emergency. Type of the emergency, fires and explosion, natural disasters, first aid, evacuation events, poisons and sabotage, hazardous chemical spillage. Emergency management. While preparing architecture plans, including evacuation plans, the provision of the regulation on the protection of building from fire, containing information on technical rules are used. Sustainable development and emergency management. The sustainable cities and living spaces goals outlined in 2015 that the building sector is the most important sector within the scope of the concept. In the literature research, it has been determined the local studies on the sustainability of the building sector are not sufficient. Sustainable development, this is the both positive and a negative relationship between disaster and emergency management and sustainable development. A negative station will inevitably arise if the balance is broken. Sustainable development and emergency management relationships. Sustainable developments and educational buildings. In the 95-year development plan in Turkey, the state decided to transform private teaching institution into private school. Buildings do not follow the regulation. In order to the method, in order to examine the issues that The fire has been taken into the consideration. The fire is most important. For this, the regulation on the protection of building from fire was taken as a basis in study. More than one method was used while preparing the study. Measurements were made in 4 schools by making observations in the spaces. The data obtained through pictograms were documented with photographs, and user-related problems are solved. Case study. In the file study, 4 private schools located within the boundaries of the central districts, Melikgazi, Kocaeli, and Talas. The first examples of the school selected for the study is a school designed as an educational buildings on the educational parcel. The second school was designed a residential building and turned into a school after residence permit. While the third school was used an industrial building, it was transformed into school. The fourth school converted from the post-2015 private teaching institution to school. Findings. Type is a school. According to research carried out on educational buildings, type A school was placed on the educational parcel. The school has a large garden area following the regulation. The location of the emergency assembly are were deemed appropriate. There is an emergency evacuation plan and sketch into the school that are visible to everyone. Fire escape dimensions, corridor dimensions, step width dimensions, are cabinet height are following the regulation. Type B school, it was transformed into a school building providing high school education by replacing an existing building on the residential parcel. The floor height of the building is not suitable for the educational building. The school does not have a sketch plan showing the emergency action plan in a location where everyone can be seen. The school has no area in the appropriate square meter. For this reason, the emergency assembly area could not be located at the correct distance. Fire cabinet height and fire doors are not selected appropriate size. Corridor and emergency sign were found to be incorrect in the correct position and size. Type C school, it is converted into the school area, the existing workplace. The school does not have a garden area, so there is no emergency meeting area at the appropriate location. There is no emergency evacuation plans in the corridors. Fire exit doors, these photographs, fire exit doors have been added to unusable fire stairs, unusable places only in order to comply with the legislation. Step widths and qualities of the fire stairs, fire cabinet location do not comply with the regulation. The presence of the columns, these photographs, at the point where the ladder descends further increase the mistake. Type D school is located in a city center, has no garden area and emergency assembly area. While the building was used as a private teaching institution as a result of the educational policies, it was transformed into the educational institution providing high school education. A steel fire escape was added to building during the transforming envelope. These photographs. The width of the corridor reaching the fire door is not enough. Stair-step widths, balance stairs, lack of handrails do not comply with the regulation. Conclusions. Accordingly, it has been determined the problems related to fire regulation are more intense in educational institutions that are converted or changed. Buildings that are constructed in the suitable location on the training flood and with few floors in the area may produce positive results in an emergency station such as fire. This table conclusions. The increasing in the quality and quantity of the educational buildings is a result that positively affects development. However, the fact that the increases are implemented in uncontrolled manner with incorrect strategic plans prepares the ground for negatively consequences in case of emergency. The emergency of risk station in emergency and disaster management prevents sustainable development. For this reason, educational buildings should not be used by changing or converting from other buildings type. The design and constructions of educational buildings must be produced in compliance with regulations. Thanks for listening.